In our last video, we looked at ways of looking at more than one figure. In this video, we're going to say, what if we want to look at two graphs or two plots on the same figure window at the same time? Not one after the other using pause command, and not on two different windows using the figure command. So this is called, we will use the hold command. Hold is letting MATLAB know that you want to keep using the same window to do other things. So there's more than one way to do this, but we're going to start with the basic. Let's give us some data here. So x, let's go from 0 to 2 pi in increments of 1/100th pi, so 0.01 pi, 2 times pi. And then y1, let's call this y1. That will just be sine of x. So here's that power of MATLAB. I don't have to go through and tell it, take the sign of the first element, then take the sign of the second element, etc., etc. It's going to do it all at once using the single command sine x. I don't need to see the results, but I do want to plot the results. So plot x, y1, and y2 will say cosine of 4 times x. So a little bit of a different amplitude there. And then plot x, y2. If I left it at this, it would overwrite the first plot. So that's not what I want. I'm going to include this line, hold on. Just using the word hold is a toggle that will either flip it from off to on or on to off. Problem is, I can't guarantee what state it was in when I started writing this. So I'm going to make it very clear and say, I want the hold to be on. Now, let's run this and see what happens. When I run this section, I get one figure, one set of axes, two different plots. And I was totally wrong. It's not the amplitude that I changed. It's the phase or the frequency. So you can see that I've got two different colors. MATLAB has a whole series of colors that it will use in order, but you can also tell it which color to use, and we'll do that a little later. For now, though, just see that, hey, I indeed did plot two different graphs on the same figure. And not just the same figure, the same set of axes. All right, let's make sure whenever we are done with hold being on, let's just say MATLAB will continue using these axes forever unless it sees a hold off command. So let's do that. It's a good rule of thumb. Whenever you are writing a program that turns a setting on or off, if it's something that's usually off, turn it back off when you're done with it. All right, let's do a different command. Let's say plot x, y2, x, y1. So I'm going to, let's just start a new cell a different way to plot 2. And I'm just going to run this. So I'm going to clear this my command window, which we're not really using right now. None of the output is getting put in the command window. But I still have x, which is a 1/201, and I still have y1 and y2. And I'm going to use this command for plotting instead. So run section. I've lost my window behind my screen. I told you it happens all the time. You can see that MATLAB has gone down to different colors in its little list of priority colors to use. That's fine. I'm okay with that. And it's still in figure 1, and this is the only window I've got. But otherwise it looks the same. So this is another way to plot without having to use hold on or hold off. So same thing, no hold. And one other way before we sign off, one other way, let's use capital Y, and we will build a matrix y1 semicolon y2. So I've got a 1/201, which is a super long row, and a 1/201 y2, which is another super long row. And then what I'm doing is I'm stacking them on top of each other. So I'm going to have, I've got my x's, I've got my y1s, I've got my y2s, and now I'm creating this super Y, this capital Y. I don't need to see it, but what I can do is say plot x comma y, capital Y. And let's comment out this one to see what it does. So run section, looks the same, but the advantage here is you can do it with a lot of rows. So if you get to the stage where you want to graph 100 different things, you might have each one in its own row and all with the same x's, and you could plot them all in this one command instead of having to type xy1, xy2, xy99, xy100. All right, all for now. In our next video, we'll look at how to change the color and pattern of our graphs.